I'm Ali Rahani. I'm with Skype Engineering, and I'd like to walk you through Skype Operations Framework. Just before I tell you what the framework is all about, let me give you an example of why a framework had to be developed as our customers rethink and shift to the cloud. Think back to the days when we all had to dig up a well right next to our property in order to be able to extract water and consume it. Well, today, obviously, we don't do that. We rely on our local utility water company to be able to provide that water to us. We still have to take care of the pipes inside the property itself and distribute that to the various rooms. The framework that I'm about to walk you through provides you with a practical guide and a set of best practices for how you want to plan, deliver, and operate Skype for Business. Understand what it is that Microsoft provides as part of Office 365 and Skype for Business, and also think through what it takes to have a successful experience as you transition in each of these phases. And just before I talk about the framework in depth, I did want to call out that SOF, Skype Operations Framework, is a multifaceted blueprint. In addition to the framework aspects of it, it also includes a readiness component that we'll be providing that I'll talk more about in just a few slides. We are going to be providing you with in-depth training on how to consume the set of artifacts that we'll be shipping. In addition, we'll be working with our partners and evolving their practices to be ready for the new cloud world. And we're also shipping this to our customers. The reason that's important is because we want to make sure that our customers are aware of what it takes to be successful each stage and each step of the way. So let me walk you through what SOF, or Skype Operations Framework, is all about. It is a set of best practices and practical guidance that we've put together to help you be successful with the product. It is a derivative of the traditional service management methodologies that you're all very comfortable about, but we've transformed that to be ready and focused on Skype for Business Online and consuming these communication capabilities through Office 365. So let me walk you through the plan, deliver, operate, the set of phases that we leverage as a starting point to develop the set of documentation and guidance that we will be shipping as part of Skype Operations Framework. In addition to PDO, we also defined a set of inner rings that help us better talk about the set of material that you will be consuming at each step of the way. So if I transition to the next slide, you'll hopefully understand some of the foundational element of Skype Operations Framework. I just talked about phase and stages. Those were the outer loop and the inner rings on the wheel that we just talked about on the previous slide. So what we've done is that we've defined a set of activities that are critical to your success at each stage of the process. Using those and leveraging those activities, we've defined and created a set of assets, a set of documentation, process, artifacts that we will be releasing publicly that you can leverage as you define the set of activities that are critical for your success. Those are layer 3 and layer 4 as you look at the visual on the slide. Leveraging those assets and activities, our customers can be more successful with the product and reach their desired outcomes through these Skype for Business initiatives and projects that they'll be working on. In addition, we'll be making this set of assets available to our partners. And we'll be working with our partners to define a set of offers that are cloud ready that they can actually leverage and take to market to present to our customers. And now I'd like to transition to Brian, who'll tell you more about SOF and tell you what to expect this summer.
Okay, thanks, Ali. Let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Brian Nice. I am a principal program manager here inside of Microsoft, and I'm responsible for the readiness aspects of Skype for Business, including working with our team on the Skype Operations Framework. So let's talk a little bit about why the Skype Operations Framework, why SOF is so important. A framework that's designed to create the right way for customers and partners to deploy and consume the Skype for Business service. As we looked at building the framework, we were looking at constructing a best-in-class deployment methodology. And really what that entailed was helping us to understand how we could build some standardization and some recommended practices so that we could achieve quality deployments and customer success in our journey to Skype for Business Online. As we built this framework, we wanted to ensure that we filled some of the gaps that we identified in tool sets that are available, in readiness components, in processes, right? And be able to fill those pieces up with various assets that we have built inside the framework. We also wanted to ensure that this framework was repeatable and evolutionary for folks that are new to Skype for Business, for customers and partners that are new to engaging in Skype for Business, but also for existing deployments that are looking to augment what they're currently doing with Skype for Business Online. This process is being driven through our engineering organization and being validated through our engineering organization, and also being run through our partner communities. So we felt it was very important as we started to construct this framework to ensure that it wasn't just simply done in a vacuum, but it was something that was worked on both by the engineering folks as well as validated by our partner community. And at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that we could enable our partners to help focusing on their core competencies themselves rather than trying to reinvent the wheel and build their own methodology for Skype for Business Online. So that's a lot of the reasons why we focused on building the importance of this Skype Online framework. This is our first release of a structured approach for our partners and customers to be able to successfully plan, deliver, and operate Skype for Business Cloud PBX and PSTN conferencing capabilities. Now, when we look at the actual framework that we're launching and we look at the assets that are associated with it, we have it broken down by the actual offer or outcome that we're desiring for this first release, which in this case is our get deployed outcome. And then we have a series of assets that are associated with the corresponding phases and stages that we have in the framework itself that you heard about earlier. So with our plan, our deliver, and our operate phases. As you start to look through the list here, you'll actually realize that there's well over 60 assets that we're going to be releasing in version 1 of the Skype Operations Framework. Now, after we release the initial framework, V1, what can we expect going forward? The framework is not designed to be simply a one and done type approach, right? Some of the key tenets of this framework are first and foremost the fact that it is going to be centered around our Skype for Business roadmap. So as our service evolves and as new feature sets come online, we want to be able to account for those inside of the framework itself. It is a living and breathing framework. It is constantly being updated, right? We're using our agile development processes to ensure that, number one, we can get incremental changes quickly into the framework. So as some of the assets evolve, as some new features and functionality come online, we can iterate very quickly and provide incremental updates rapidly to the assets that are inside of the framework. We're also looking to build some major drops at a quarterly pace, right, for the framework, where we can get much larger components baked into the framework. So some new offers, some new outcomes, and associated assets that go along with it. As we're developing and implementing and delivering this framework, feedback is very key to the future of the Skype Operations Framework itself, right? So being able to understand that we have the correct set of assets, we're filling the correct gaps as far as our customers and our partners are concerned. So feedback will be a very key tenet for us to ensure a very stable future for the Skype Operations Framework. In addition to the key tenets, there are also key items that we're currently working on very diligently for the next releases of the Skype Operations Framework, continuing to iterate on the assets that we've delivered in V1, focusing around areas such as our cloud connector and our hybrid voice components, our new capabilities that we're releasing all the time in the services, multi-regional offerings. All of these are future components that we're already working through and diligently working to get into our next iterations of the Skype Operations Framework. Now, to learn more about the Skype Operations Framework, you can hit our AKA URL. That's aka.ms/SOF, right, for Skype Operations Framework. I also want to make sure that you realize that in addition to all of the assets that we're building for the framework itself, as far as fun guides and tools, things of that nature, we also have virtual training that is going to be available starting on July 18th. And the virtual training is designed to take us through not only the understanding of what the Skype Operations Framework is, but how do I use it, right? How do I consume it? How do I use the assets that we have inside of our Skype Operations Framework? So I I encourage you to come to our training sessions that are starting on July 18th so that you can learn more about the Skype Operations Framework, get some hands-on exposure to the product, as well as being able to revisit our aka.ms/soft link to be able to consume all of the awesome assets that we have available. Now, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been an honor talking to you, and I hope you're as excited about the framework as I am. Thank you very much.